Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel here. Today's game plan, I will show you guys how to create beautiful chords and chord progressions using Star Harmony without any music theory needed. Without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get going. One thing that's really cool about Star Harmony is that you're able to create chords without actually putting any MIDI down, if you think about it, right? It's a resonator effect. Yeah, we're able to workshop different chord progressions kind of on the fly. So one of my favorite ways to use Star Harmony is to workshop and try out different chord progressions before I actually go through the process of putting them in the MIDI and kind of solidifying them in my track here. So here's what that might look like, for example. I guess I have an EQ here, kind of iron things out, and a reverb here. But the first step is to kind of creating what I like to call almost like a first draft instrument that you just have out that you actually just mess around chords with, is to try and find a sample that's like really plain. So anything that would be like an ambiance effect or like rain sound, any sound that's just like a in the background field recording, it's going to work really well. So I actually have a sample. So what I do is, right, I go to my Ableton, I go to ambiance and effects, and I go to field and foley. You could also do atmosphere if you wanted to. Really up to you here. But I had a random recording of a like film reel going, so it sounds like this, and this is perfect. So check this out. I'm gonna drag this in. Okay, here's what it sounds normally. Just your normal white noise sound. All right. So again, the trick with creating your pad is to try and find a sound that's just, again, very noisy, very much like white noise or staticky. So I'm going to take this part out so that it's just the static sound itself, and then I'm going to start messing with it. So the first thing I like to do is add in the EQ to take out some of the highs. So you get kind of a more subtler, less in your face, noisy sound. All right, now that we got that, our next step is to throw on Star Harmony. Yeah. So I just have it in C right now. To create this kind of pad effect, you want to make sure your mix all the way up, your decay is decently high. I have it at 60 here, and then you can leave the warp and noise stuff down, as well as the tone. Detune, you turn that down, and I think transpose, you probably leave it where it is as well. So now if you did everything right, you should have just a block of sound you can kind of sculpt here. So let's take a listen here. Okay, yeah, so again, we have just a block of sound. Doesn't sound super pad-ish like yet, but we'll mess with that. Okay, cool. Next thing I do is I'm going to go and add a reverb in. So again, I'm just using the Valhalla Supermassive, but you can use any reverb. This is a synth cloud preset, which I think is incredible. Honestly, all the presets that have synth in them, for whatever reason, just work super well for this. So that's a little pro tip here. But yeah, after you have your reverb, now you'll start to hear some of those pad sounds come out, right? So check this out. Okay, now we're kind of starting to hear it a little bit. So congrats, we've just created our kind of blank slate, our whiteboard, if you will, for testing out chord progressions. So let's start off with a classic. Everyone should know the 2-5-1 chord progression, right? Super popular in jazz and is a foundation in many different genres of music. So say you're making a track and you wanted to hear what the 2-5-1 might sound like in the context of your track, but you didn't maybe want to go through the hassle of putting it in the MIDI quite yet. So you can actually just go ahead and hear and mess around with the chords as your kind of sound pad drone thing is kind of going in the background here. Check this out. I'm gonna play my sound. Amazing. I have my sound going. I have it looped. Check this out. We'll just do a 2-5-1, see if we like it. Okay, I mean, that sounds cool, it sounds a little bit plain or stale. So I usually go to one of the more advanced modes down here, And that's where really some of these chord progressions start to shine. Let's go ahead and listen to the 251 one more time, now using the neo soul chord progression down here. Check this out. Yeah. Do one more time here. So that's super cool, right? We already kind of have the start to a song here, and we know what chords are being played. So say I like this chord progression and I wanted it to be in my track here. The next thing to do is to automate it, right? So one of the cool things about Star Harmony is that you actually can automate these chords right here, so you don't have to always manually put them in kind of a workshopping mode, right? You can actually automate and decide when you want those chords to change. So in Ableton, how you do this is you open up your automation. I press A, brings it up, and the parameter you're looking for is called chord degree. Called chord degree here. All right. So I'm gonna press that, and now I am able to automate when the different chords come in. So we already know we like that 2-5-1 pattern. So I'll just quickly go in here and I will just add in the 2-5-1, right? So. We'll do this, hover over, drag that till 2. You'll see a tiny little Roman numeral there in the corner there as you're dragging, so you know what it is. Do the same thing here. We're going to do the 5. And then I'll just go ahead and copy this again. There you go. And then we'll go ahead and add the 5 chord here. So 2-5-1. Oh, my bad. The 1 chord. We're moving too fast here. Okay, cool. So check this out. Now we have our 2-5-1 chord progression embedded in our track. Here's what it sounds like. You know? Come on. That's already a song right there. That's a song starter. Come on. Someone better sample that immediately. Okay. Real quick, I also wanted to show how to automate the chords in FL Studio. So it's a very similar process. You'll open up your Star Harmony VST. You'll go to this drop down here, click that. Then you'll look for Browse Parameters. Once clicking on that, it'll open up a little side panel on the left side here. You'll look for the option called Chord Degree. Right click that guy and do Create Clip. And then boom, you have yourself an automation clip that you can use to change the chords with Star Harmony in real time. So yeah, now we have our chord progression. And I love this setup because look, say I was like, I just don't like the way that first chord sounds. Well, cool, let's change it around. Let's do this 3 right here, see what it sounds like. Okay, so it sounds fine. Maybe I'll change it to where maybe instead of ending on the 1, maybe we'll drag it up so maybe it ends on the 4. I mean, that might sound interesting. Okay, a little more melancholy. Yep. And I can mess around more. Say I wanted to go from the 4 maybe up to the 6. See what that sounds like. Okay. Kind of a more not super resolved chord progression. But you see the benefits to rapidly iterating chords this way, right? That you can mess around, figure out what sounds right to you, what sounds right for your track, and then once you have it, you can then just create chords based on that.